Hey, what's going on, guys? So we got ourselves a really quick and easy review video for you today. So from Zombie Sailors, Heels and Faces, we do have the newest release of Matt Cardona. So this is what I'm talking about with a lot of these different toy lines out there, constantly re-releasing same characters over and over again. And generally they are the exact same figures, different paint schemes. And it's kind of frustrating, and especially when you kind of imagine that a lot of people out there are kind of work on a budget, but they want to have the whole collection, right? They're collectors, and it's important to have every piece. You're really kind of messing your fans over by doing this, and it's infuriating. So Matt Cardona has already been released in Series 1. It was a great figure. You don't need to release the same figure or same character over and over again. Now, Matt Cardona from Series 1, you kind of remember, he was bearskin, right? And he had open hands. Kind of think about your Series 1 Hasbro Hogan and a lot of those other guys. So this one is closed fist, so that does kind of give you a little bit of an upgrade there, especially if you are a fan of the figures that, you want that legitimate punching style action figure. Especially if you're one of those guys that are kind of you creating these little wrestling fandom videos, and it's not just simply display pieces. But you also got a 2-pack recently with Nick Gage and Matt Cardona. So this is already the third incarnation of this character, and to me it's overkill. It's a good looking figure. I love the card backing. It's definitely unique when you compare it to some of the different figures, some of the different card backs we received. So the purple and white really mesh really well. Now, I don't know if you necessarily classify this as part of Series 4. Now, Series 4, is part of like Macho Man and Bad News Brown. You also got, what else came out? Abdullah Butcher. You got Ric Flair Bloody. So, I don't know. Maybe you can consider this part of Series 4. I'm looking down on the bottom of this card here. I'm seeing Legion of Doom coming out at some point. So, now, it's a good figure. I definitely agree. But I am going to move this card back a little bit further here, because I want to take a look at the individual piece here. And in fact, I am going to move a few things out of the way. One of the things I really don't enjoy about these figures, and I'm trying to find the right way to say this. I guess the best word to use with Zombie Sailors is boredom. I'm getting bored with Zombie Sailors figures. I remember back in early 2022 when I first came across these figures, the first 5 figures that they released with Matt Cardona and Sabu, etc., right? I thought they were so unique and great. I'm like, and then kind of falling in line with the Hasbro style figures. I'm like, heck yeah, that is freaking amazing. And I think Zombie Sailors really got off on a fast start too, because when you look at Hasbro Toys, Grapplers, and Gimmicks, the first few figures that they came out with, it really was a work in progress. Nowadays, I think Hasbro Toys are some of the best Hasbro style figures out there, and just a shade behind Hasbro themselves, where Zombie Sailors, yeah, their figures they're their own unique pieces, but look at these arms, right? And I've complained about this repetitiously. I don't like the fact that these arms are always so excessively long. And this body pose. Alright, think LJN now. I look at this figure, I look at this body pose. It is a 100% replica to the Series 1 LJN Junkyard Dog. And Junkyard Dog is a fine LJN figure, right? It's a very playable figure, and unlike Junkyard Dog, because these arms are movable, they do go up and down, you can make more. It is a much more playable figure, sure, but look at this. Look at how far that arm sinks. I am not quite a huge fan of that, but head sculpt, incredible. I mean, I do like the graphics overall of this figure. It's got a nice little paint scheme throughout. And you kind of get these, I don't know, what is that? Is that like one of the light bulb? Yeah, it does look like a light bulb. One of those little fluorescent light bulbs, so I don't think I've ever seen Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona. You know, I've never seen, you know, a lot of your modern day wrestlers. And I don't know how old I was when I realized that Zack Ryder and Matt Cardona weren't the same. And I think I probably learned that maybe 2 years ago or something. And I thought that was interesting. I was just kind of reading that on Google one day. I'm like, no shoot. But I was kind of looking at the Zack Ryder Mattel Retro figure one day, and I think I was looking at Google and just kind of came across the fact that they said Zack Ryder and Matt Cardona were one the same. I'm like, that is so fascinating. And that's what I'm talking about with wrestling, because there are just so many different names and gimmicks and what have you that, like, if you asked me the name Mike Rotunda once upon a time, I would have had no idea who that was. But like you told me IRS, I'm like, heck yeah. As a kid growing up, I would have always thought that Erwin R. Shyster was his real name. As an adult, I mean, obviously nowadays I know better, but like, that's one of those things that I just wish that people would just use real names and stuff and stop going off of stage names. It's not necessary. So, I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm kind of going to be interested in collecting Zombie Sailor figures. Now, as a fan and as a collector, yes, I want to keep going because I want to have the whole collection. I already have the complete collection. I already have every figure Zombie Sailors has ever come out with. Every variant. As a collector, I want to ensure that I continue going and have the whole collection, but there's just so many things about being a collector that goes into it. It's not just simply going out buying the item of interest. One, finances are a huge obstacle. I mean, it's not like it's 1990. You're going out and you're buying a Hasbro figure for $3.95 off the shelf at Toys R Us, right? These are $40 action figures, and sometimes even higher. At least Mattel Retros, when you're buying a 4-pack, you're paying about $60 through Mattel Creations. I can say $15 a figure. That's at least reasonable. But at $40+ from all these different toy companies, Rush Collectibles, which has one of the worst figures ever, Hastel Toys, and Zombie Sailors, it gets to a point where too many figures are coming out too close together. They're making too many variants of the same exact figures, of the exact same characters, and you're basically going to start ostracizing your fans and your incumbent buyers. So, and I'm feeling that itch to where I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of these lines anymore. At some point, the resources are going to run out, and we're not even talking about space anymore. The finances may not even be there to buy the stuff, to buy the collectibles anymore. So, is this a worthwhile figure? I don't know. In all honesty, like I said, I don't think that this is a $40 figure. I think I've just gotten to a point where I've been bored with Zombie Sailors figures for a long time. Series 1 I thought was nice because it was something different. Getting guys like King Kong Bundy was nice. I think Andre the Giant was a nice addition, even though I hate the skin tone. I still feel like One Man Gang was an incredible piece, probably one of the top figures out there. But in all honesty, when you look at Zombie Sailor figures, I think maybe One Man Gang really is like the only figure I would look at and be like, hey, this really is like a top 15 all-time best figure. Everything else is really isn't all that, and definitely not worth the price tag. And it's why when you ask me, hey, what are your favorite toy lines? Zombie Sailors is not in the top 3 or top 4. They're not in the top 5. And the more figures I get in, I kind of feel like they're falling further and further back that list of companies I actually care about. So yeah, not the best review. Normally when I do these reviews, I am probably 99.9% positive, but as I've said before, it's just getting to a point where these figures are just basically repeating themselves, and there's really not much more you can say. And it's just, I think boring is probably the best description of the figures nowadays. I really want a lot of these companies to stop mass producing and take a step back, because once they start creating something better, you're going to bring in a whole lot more fans than what you're getting by recreating the same characters. Yeah, you might have your loyalists like me, for example, that might continue buy stuff like this, these repaints and whatnot, but you're going to get, what, 250 buyers or so for this? Whereas you could have skipped releasing a figure like this. You could have branched off some new ideas, sculpted some new figures, and 6 months from now come out with a new figure and probably brought in a few thousand new buyers with something special. And Zombie Sailors, if you ever watch this, please, for the love of God, get rid of these arm extensions. I have no friggin' clue why you make these arms so long. This is just horrible. This is really bad design. Now, I don't want these arms like in super small, super tight, but this ET arms, I hate that. And I know I'm not alone. I've had other people even kind of make remarks where they're not a fan of that either. I get it. You're your own company. You want to be unique and have your own designs, but that is just not, that's just poor quality right there. Alright guys, so very quick video, and I kind of wanted to keep talking because I wanted to make this more than a 5 to 8 minute video, so, but I think a 13 to 15 minute video should be sufficient. Hopefully I didn't turn anybody off from buying this figure if they really wanted it, but I definitely wanted to kind of give my points, and hopefully this does help, make your determination whether or not you think this is going to be a good purchase or not. For those that have found the figure or found the video to be interesting and helpful, I thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the comments and see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.